You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
I'm sorry!
Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Andy Q. Public, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe, what's going on?
What's going on, Andy? Everybody go to allapologiespodcast.com there for all the links to Patreon, Instagram, TikTok, X, or whatever. If you're still calling it Twitter, then good for you.
YouTube. Well, we don't have the link to YouTube, but please follow us on YouTube and subscribe there as well. Right, Joe?
Yeah. Go to YouTube, subscribe there. You know, we have like a lot of ideas that we want to like unlock that. We started doing a lot of our reaction videos, right, to music and stuff like that we're putting over on Patreon. Just for fun, you know, a little lighter fare. You know, if we kind of get forced into this racist sexual assault world constantly, and Andy and I are just like, Jesus God, can we lighten this up just a little bit? So we lighten it up. We like to lighten it up a little bit over on Patreon. So go find that there.
Right. The Patreon mini show is a lot more lighthearted. It's not so focused on the serious topics of the day. We've been lampooning some terrible music videos over there. So if you want to support the show for just $5 a month, you can take advantage of that mini show content. But we also feature some bits and pieces of it for the free members as well. So if you just want to join for free, then we'd love to have you there on the Patreon. But if you are a day one supporter, I'm going to start shouting them out on the show. The people that support the show on Patreon, people like Simon and MC, Hall and Oates, Leo, Fun Kilo, Tigran, Aaron, Kyle, Balasim, Nicola, Doug, Hunter Duke, Tyler, Bob K, The Principled Uncertainty, The Sean Savage, Orange Julius, Brian, Notorious Cretin, Waylon, Bad at Karate, Wahid, Kate, Ray Guitard. I know Ray Guitard personally. He's a good guy. Kyle, SJ, Hank, and Jackie Marlowe. The Jackie Marlowe is supporting the show on Patreon. So be more like Jackie Marlowe. Be more like Principled Uncertainty. Be more like Ray Guitard. You too could be a Ray Guitard on Patreon.
These are all heroes, and you could be a hero too.
Yeah, but in the meantime, let's take it to the main topic.
Who's that?
All
Joe,
right.
you did all the heavy lifting on this episode.
Yeah. So it's not an apology, but people have come for Harrison Butker, who is the place kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, what I'm not going to do is say the Kansas City Chiefs are not good, or that I hate the Kansas City Chiefs, or that this guy is not good at what he does.
I'll say it. I hate the Kansas City Chiefs.
But that's not the point. And the other point that I want to make before we start getting into this, it was brought up to me at some juncture where I was going through all of this. Let's be very clear. He, of course, has the right to say whatever he wants. And he's actually not saying anything awful. It just seems very antiquated and fucking off base here. But let's get into it. So Harrison Butker was he did one of these, I think maybe last year. I think he went to Georgia Tech and he did the commencement speech for Georgia Tech. It was actually fairly similar to this. Like I was confused and I started watching the Georgia Tech one initially. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? And then I was just like, oh, wait, I'm watching the wrong one. And then I switched over. And so just for a little context for anybody who may not be aware of what's happening here, this is a private Catholic college in Kansas. It's about an hour away from Kansas City, Missouri. And so it's part of this is like kind of know your audience. Like he's operating in an environment where he feels that he has everyone's full acceptance to his words here, right? Like you're literally preaching to the choir, you might say, in this scenario.
Yeah.
So
he thinks he's in like on the stage at a mega church, right?
yeah, and also I'll save it for the end, but like this is not like a large crowd or a big school or anything like that. Like almost to the point where you're like, I'm surprised anybody even picked up on this at all. But I think the Associated Press specifically has kind of had their way with him in the past or whatever, and that's where I initially saw this was through AP. And he mentions them in one of the clips here too. But let's jump right in. So
I'm sorry, Joe, but isn't it funny that people who are ultra religious are against the free press and facts and information?
Dude, there is the most neck snapping hypocrisy. Like say one thing and then turn around and do it not 10 seconds later. I'll point it out when we get there. It's outrageous. Okay. But to maybe provide a little more context here, the point of his speech is stay in your lane, right? Like, this is the overarching theme that he goes back to over and over again of we kind of all have our jobs to do and stay in your lane, which is a bit ironic.
That's a weird thing to coach kids towards that are trying to make a mark on the world.
Right. Well, yeah, that is very strange, Andy. You are right. And for somebody who kicks a ball for a living to start telling everybody how to live their lives seems a little out of the blue. But anyway, let's get right into it here. So the first one I said, congrats. This is the only time we'll talk about the graduates of Byzantine University here, or college.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2024, I would like to start off by congratulating all of you for successfully making it to this achievement today.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me tell you everything that I think about the world, okay? So here in clip 2 called Platform, let me talk about myself real quick. Clip 2.
I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it and preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it.
Right. So it's so funny how everyone who has, had the privilege and success and kind of the world by the tail, all praise is due to God up above for giving me this platform. I wasn't asked to present at this thing, and I didn't accept it. God gave it to me. Okay. Fine. Andy, so far, comments? Anything?
Fucking guy.
All right. So this fucking guy is still talking about COVID in clip 3.
Oh my God.
By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID, I hope you learned the important lessons that suffering in this life is only temporary. As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society.
Yeah, this is like fucking World War II honor flight, greatest generation shit. I'm like, we're so close to not having to hear this shit anymore. Like, we're so close to not having to hear about COVID, all of the kids who missed out on fucking orientation sleepover at Benedictine College in 2020. Who gives a fuck, man? You didn't miss anything. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. And obviously I'm kidding about honor flight.
Well, I mean, obviously people like this love that slippery slope argument of the fact that whatever Fauci and Cuomo were wrong about the effectiveness of the vaccine means that they were wrong, so God is right. You know, I didn't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine, and I'm still alive, so that must mean that God exists.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because in clip 4 here's where he loses me completely, and I want to go laces out on his nutsack. But go ahead and play this clip 4.
While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder.
Interesting.
So because I was unlucky enough to start my college career in 2020 when COVID broke out, that means that abortion is for the devil, and all of my leaders are assholes because they're not, because I'm not donating money to them every Sunday. You know, I just love I love the if then argument that one thing doesn't lead to the other, sir.
Ed?
What I can tell you is that my older daughter, the COVID thing, it was a social problem. Okay. When it came to my younger daughter, that was a developmental thing. So COVID was legitimately, like, shutting all the schools down, doing all this stuff, literally did cause a problem with my kids. Do I agree with him on that our leaders are incompetent? 100%.
Yeah.
But where he loses me is my religious right beliefs are the way to go.
Well, that's what I mean. Because leaders are incompetent doesn't mean that your religious beliefs are correct.
100%. And I want him to step in front of a bus in Kansas City.
My issue mostly with that, let's just go to euthanasia.
Well, hang on. I just want to say real quick, well, to my point that I was just making there, one of my favorite video games of all time, I've played it from beginning to end at least 5 times, is Far Cry 5. And the plot of it is amazing because it is about a survivalist religious zealot group run by a guy who and his siblings who are the religious leaders of, I mean, they're like the level bosses of the game, but they're cultivating nuclear weapons for like a doomsday prophecy. So it's either you support the cult, and if you support the cult and nothing bad happens, then the cult is getting everything they want. If you don't support the cult, it's a nuclear winter, and when the bomb goes off, it's because the cult was predicting it all along. If you didn't support us, then the world was going to come to an end. So it's like we're right or we're right. What do you want us to be right about?
And I think when you use that term, the key term to that is cult. You're not calling it a religion. You're calling it a cult. The difference between a religion and a cult is about 2,000 years.
Right. Great game. Everybody play Far Cry 5. I loved it.
So Harrison doesn't know anything outside of his perfect existence is part of the problem here, right? Don't talk to me about euthanasia or the right to die when you've suffered nothing at 28 years old. I don't know. Maybe you did watch a relative suffer. Was that, just part of God's plan that they wanted your loved one to just, for years be in agonizing pain from cancer or multiple sclerosis or something like that, and or mental illness where you don't even know what's right in the world anymore, and you would just like to check out. No, but that's against God's plan, Andy. That's not anything that God didn't. It was unnatural. Well, or everything is God's plan, and for you to interfere in any way, that's an abomination. I would argue that pulling something like IVF off without having you're not going to do that with a little bit of order going on in the lab. So to say that surrogacy and IVF are all stem from disorder. I know he's talking about disorder in leadership where we're allowing this. Our leaders are allowing these things. How dare they allow us to kind of just do whatever technology enables? Oh my God. Clutch your rosary, Harrison. We don't need your leaders. We don't need your order or your shitty opinions.
He was invited to be the speaker, and he's on stage with a microphone.
And you will respect my authority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what's what.
In clip 5, I called this Not My Catholicism. Here, Harrison is mad that people don't Catholic to his satisfaction.
Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic.
Ever heard of free will?
I mean,
some say it's the greatest gift your God gave to humankind. Harrison doesn't like this, though. He can't stand that other people might Jesus different than him. Also, what a coward, by the way. He never fully mentions anybody with his full chest. He doesn't say Biden. He doesn't say Fauci. I don't know who he's talking about with their gay agenda that he seems to be, whatever Catholic is pushing that agenda on people. He never mentions these people. He wants to stand up here and have his fucking way, but he never fucking pulls the trigger on anybody specific. And that's fucking cowardly. You have the balls to get up there and fucking talk about this shit, then fucking talk about it, man.
Yeah. And never mind that a lot of those regulations are state issued. It's not coming completely from the top down at a federal level. It's not like you can't attend a thing and respect somebody's event that they're putting on and bless yourself with the sign of the cross. Maybe he's blessing himself with the sign of the cross because he doesn't agree with the pro-abortion thing, and he's
a fucking idiot. He's fucking stupid. I mean, doing the sign of the cross at an abortion rally, that is stupid. I mean, that's a retarded thing to do.
So one of the key things that people forget is that in the 80s and 90s, when we had the pro-life people, and remember all the big things that were happening in pro-life, it was the religious right, and they were like, no, we're all about life. But what are the religious right really all about? They are about, well, one, they're about control, but they're also about the death penalty. They're also about bombing abortion clinics. It's very counterintuitive what they were trying to get across. What it really comes down to is the farther right you are in the religious spectrum, I should say, the farther right you are religiously, the more willing you are to oppress women.
Yeah.
And you're also willing to abuse children. You're willing to put down on people that are weaker than you in the name of God.
Because I was created in God's image. God is a man, and I was created in his image.
God's not a man. If we were created in God's image as humankind, we would be a Southeastern Asian woman.
I feel like my hands look like King Charles' hands or something. They feel bloated or something.
They do look like sausages. Sorry, guys.
You're right, Ed. But once again, you're not Jesusing to Harrison's satisfaction. Okay.
Because of abortion rights? I mean, even people that aren't aborted feel bad about it.
I want to apologize for being born.
Okay. In clip 6, who are these leaders? How dare these faith leaders have personalities and live outside of the church?
But make no mistake, before we even attempt to fix any of the issues plaguing society, we must first get our own house in order, and it starts with our leaders. The bishops and priests appointed by God as our spiritual fathers must be rightly ordered. There's not enough time today for me to list all the stories of priests and bishops misleading their flocks, but none of us can blame ignorance anymore and just blindly proclaim that that's what Father said. Because sadly, many priests we are looking to for leadership are the same ones who prioritize their hobbies or even photos with their dogs and matching outfits for the parish directory.
Right. So, yeah, how dare these people do anything other than fucking pray and read the Bible?
Don't bring me problems, Harrison. Bring me solutions. Like, don't just saying, "Oh, the leadership's not good enough." What is your solution to that?
Right. Also, who? Once again, you said. I mean, you alluded to Biden, you alluded to Fauci, you alluded to some gay Catholic leader or whatever. Nobody knows who you're talking about anymore. Who are the bishops? Who are the priests? You want to stand up here and tell us all about the fucking problems that you have with the church, but you're not saying who these people are. Okay. Oh, look, Father Jim took some time away from molesting a kid to dress his dog up like fucking Shrek for a funny picture. Well, enough of that fun. Back to the blessed fingerings. What are we fucking talking about here? Dickhead doesn't realize he went all in on corruption and that any normal person ran screaming from the fucking Catholic Church years ago. If you have any fucking sense in your head, you're like, oh, I was part of a fucking corrupt pedophile ring. I'm not giving them money anymore. What are you doing?
Yeah. Show up with a list of names and say,
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
Yes. Okay. So here Harrison tries to get a little cute.
Tragically, so many priests revolve much of their happiness from the adulation they receive from their parishioners. And in searching for this, they let their guard down and become overly familiar. This undue familiarity will prove to be problematic every time because, as my teammate's girlfriend says, familiarity breeds contempt.
What do you think about that, Andy?
What?
Hang on, Ed.
Which teammate's girlfriend? Is he talking about Jackson Mahomes?
Yeah. No, I mean, for real, because to be perfectly honest, I didn't catch this at all when I first watched it.
Oh.
Do you know? I mean, are you...
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, right. Once again,
you're talking about that?
Once again, not... Like, it's all just alluded to. This is why this speech sucks, by the way. Like I'll keep coming back to it because it is such a glaring thing here that he mentions no one. Like, it's all there's no reference, there's no source, there's no person, nobody. It's all just vague, everything that he says. So I didn't catch that.
No, you're right though, because if you want to engage an audience, you do it through relatable storytelling, not vague generalizations and broad stroke spotlighting problems in a broad way. Like people with no attempt at an explanation about what's to be done about it, just saying that basically he's saying our bishops and priests are not very good. You should become bishop and priest because we need better leaders. That's as far as I could tell so far, that's what he's saying. I don't know what else he's saying except we need better bishops.
I mean, that's true, and I'll address that later on. But I didn't catch that his teammate's girlfriend was Taylor Swift when I first heard this speech. By the way, she loves guys like this, I'm sure. Controlling tone-deaf dildos. Taylor Swift loves those. I bet they have a great fun time together at all the brisket barbecues in Kansas City with Taylor Swift and Harrison Butker attend together. When I heard this, I was like, who gives a fuck about some guy's girlfriend and what they think about anything? And then I found it was Taylor Swift, and I'm like, who gives a fuck about what Taylor Swift thinks about any of it? I don't care at all. Oh, familiarity breeds contempt. The classic quote by Taylor Swift. She didn't come up with that. It's not like she wrote that and everybody fucking made it a meme.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead.
I know
guy.
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
We haven't even gotten really to more of his thoughts on women's roles that Taylor Swift definitely disagrees with.
This is linear. Okay, so
may I jump in just for 1 second?
By all means, sir.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I am interrupting this conversation more than usual because this guy is such a fucking cunt. But the origin of the phrase "familiarity breeds contempt" is actually, according to the interwebs, is credited to Aesop in the 6th century. So for whatever jerk off yelled at us and yelled at me and wanting an apology for the George Orwell quote that I misinterpreted, this is where it comes from. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You ASAP Rocky, isn't that Rihanna's? Or ASAP Ferg.
Yeah, let's go with that. That'll work.
ASAP Ferg's collab with DJ Premier. I'm bringing up DJ Premier a lot in this episode or in this recording session here. Go check out ASAP Ferg. Okay, so in our next clip here, which I called Harrison Butker's own personal 9/11, finally he starts making some sense.
As we saw during the pandemic, too many bishops were not leaders at all. They were motivated by fear of being sued, fear of being removed, fear of being disliked. They showed by their actions, intentional or unintentional, that the sacraments don't actually matter. Because of this, countless people died alone without access to the sacraments, and it's a tragedy we must never forget.
Oh no, the sacraments! Oh my God! Yeah. How dare these old bishops not want to catch a highly contagious virus? Go forth and die, you fuck. You took a vow. What are we doing?
An old man didn't want to contract a deadly disease. What a coward.
Right. The sacraments don't matter. This guy completely wasted his life on D&D shit. And yeah, the fucking bishop didn't cast sleight of hand and somebody died. What are you talking about? Shut up.
Yeah, he didn't move diagonally across the board. Someone we all know and love used to work for the Catholic diocese here, right? They're just men. They're not allowed to do anything. They're just men. They go home and they listen to music and play video games just like the rest of us. They're just fucking men. Get over it.
Are they playing Far Cry 5 too?
I don't think they did. But they do play video games. They listen to music. I personally have gone over to a former bishop's house to fix his TV. Come on. I mean, like, they're people. They're men. The Bible was written by men. It's not the word of God. Shut the fuck up. Move on.
He's like, I can't double tap these mushroom heads in fucking The Last of Us. I need you to fix my TV.
But I can in the rectory.
All right. So no one cares about this bullshit. This pussy continues to dance around his point and not actually call anyone out.
Now, when a bishop of a diocese or the bishop's conference as a whole puts out an important document on this matter or that, nobody even takes a moment to read it, let alone follow it. No. Today, our shepherds are far more concerned with keeping the doors open to the chancery than they are with saying the difficult stuff out loud. It seems that the only time you hear from your bishops is when it's time for the annual appeal, whereas we need our bishops to be vocal about the teachings of the church, setting aside their own personal comfort and embracing their cross. Our bishops are not politicians, but shepherds. So instead of fitting in the world by going along to get along, they too need to stay in their lane and lead.
Since we're about halfway through my package here, this is a good time to point out that this, religion, COVID, politics, the NFL, it's all just control. Harrison is mad that everyone isn't doing what he wants them to do, and Sky Daddy isn't making them do it. Make them do it, Sky Daddy. I want them to do it.
But he's talking to a graduating class of a Catholic college. Is this Catholicism?
I forgot. Was that the point of this? Oh, were we supposed to be celebrating kids who just fucking made an achievement? Because we've been talking about fucking everything under the sun that he's not happy about, but nothing about fucking college.
Yeah, how to attack the world. Instead of saying attacking the world is like winning a Super Bowl. You have to prepare and work hard and know your opponent. No, we're going to talk about the fact that not every state is repealing Roe v. Wade the same way that Harrison wants it to be repealed.
Okay, Harrison doesn't want to just complain. I called this one shit in one hand.
Focusing on my vocation while praying and fasting for these men will do more for the church than me complaining about her leaders.
Fast more, dummy. I think the problem is you're not fasting enough.
No. He called the church her. The church has never been her.
No ladies allowed.
Ever. The Catholic Church is male-centric.
Yeah. I will say, though, like I will throw him a bone at this. He attacks the hierarchy or the structure of the Catholic Church just as much as anything else. And so he's as unhappy with his own belief system structure as that he is as wrong about every other aspect of his life. So I will compliment him slightly in saying, hey, this whole organization is kind of fucked. But not for the reasons that it's really fucked. Right. Not the real reasons that it's fucked. That they've just been stealing money and not paying taxes and fucking kids and fucking shuffling criminals about the country. None of that gets brought up. But it's just a leadership issue, Ed.
You know what? The Nazis had that same argument. It's weird.
That is weird. I called this one "Never Let an Opportunity Go By." How can we have a fanatic at a microphone without shitting on the gays?
I'm certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify him.
We got a real pop with that comment.
Super gay.
Did the king of hypocrisy not just call out an attempt to rebuke and embarrass a group of people and then just turn around and half a second later do the exact same thing to another group of people? Is that not what I just fucking heard? Oh, the AP tried to shame these Catholics in Kansas City. Meanwhile, these gays and pride, how dare they have pride over anything? How dare they? Are you trying to rebuke and embarrass the gay community? Oh, they can't have any pride. Okay. Good job, Bye. It's truly pathetic and embarrassing for him.
100%. And the other fact of this is that the Catholic Church has been moving, like you said, has been moving pedophiles around not just the country, but the entire globe. They've also had more latent homosexuals in their group that they have rebuked in the priesthood It's like it boggles my the praying of the gay away and all of and like it just boggles my mind how incompetent this stupid place kicker is.
Maybe it might be a good opportunity here to say that Andy and I both went to Catholic we were in Catholic school from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. I'm well aware of the Catholic Church and the. I will say
I never got molested.
I never got molested.
Lies.
I was a choir boy. I never got molested. That was not a thing.
I was too fast.
When there's two of you, there's always a witness. You know, like it's always there's going to be a corroborating witness if there's two of you. But the thing that I will say is like there is like and this would be true of any group. Like it's not just the Catholic Church. Any group, there is a community that is surrounded. There is like commonality. There are things that are okay about being part of a group and a religion. Like I mean, it is the whole point of something like that. But what this guy is talking about is archaic. It's archaic, really, especially what we know about the church now. You know,
I can assure you that the Crystal Methodists were identical to the Catholics, only we were allowed to have women do stuff. It's the only difference. It's the only difference. Right. When my mother would beat me over the head and we'd have to go and we had to do communion, it was the exact same thing. They'd go to the same part of the stupid hymnal and I believe in the Catholic Roman Church, blah, 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 bullshit. Mm-hmm. We weren't Catholic. We were Protestant. We were Crystal Methodists. Like it's all the same. It's all the same bullshit.
You know, this isn't part of the package or anything, but I'll tell you at a very, very, very young age where they completely lost me is where they started asking me for my money. When I was
anybody who's asking you for money is a fucking crook.
A 10-year-old boy needs to honor the tithing of what
10% of your fucking income.
My birthday money. You want $1 out of the $10 I got for fucking from Aunt Marge. What are we doing? Fuck off.
We're a low-income family. You should be giving us money.
Oh, God.
Well, if they had to pay taxes on their 4,000 or 5,000 acres in Italy or every other fucking country where they've got money. Cocksuckers.
So in clip 12, I called this one, All the Single Ladies. Here, Harrison wants to address the lies told to the graduating women.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
As you hear the baby cry in the background.
First of all, where are the lies that they've been told? Like, I don't like. What are we talking about? So I want
right. Like, he never brings that up. You might as well just end every sentence with,
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Right. There's all the promotions and titles that you think you're going to get for working. Lies. They don't give those to menstruating women. That's all. That's what you've been told. The lies are that you'll go on to have a successful career.
So
these
Andy,
these people have dumped 4 years of their lives into trying to freak. What are we saying? Like they were just like, I didn't know what else to do with my life, so I just spent tens upon tens of thousands of dollars to earn a 4-year degree that Harrison Butker thinks I shouldn't even use. It was a complete waste of time, and money, according to him. Congratulations on everything you've achieved so far. It was meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman in the audience was like,
I'm just sorry for being a freaking idiot.
So Andy, is your wife a successful professional?
I don't want to talk about my wife. No, my wife's killing it.
Okay.
My wife.
Joe and Andy, was your mother a successful professional?
You know, in
I've plenty.
I mean, so the reason I'm bringing this up is that I know both of them were raised Catholic.
Yeah. And they're both examples of women being successful.
Andy's brother's Joe's sister, she's also very successful, and she was raised Catholic and has fucking kids. Weird.
It can be done, Harrison.
This is the arrogance of a person who does not understand any perspective other than what he's experienced in life, and thinks that everybody has walked the same path that he has.
Yeah. This is reminiscent of Morgan Wallen's experience with the N-word. His experience with women in the workplace. It's just a blind spot of ignorance that he has no point of reference for.
Well, Andy, all the women that work for the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, Missouri, you know there's tons of Catholic women that work for that organization, I'm sure.
But Harrison's never seen an episode of Shark Tank. He doesn't know that, there's a way to be a successful, accomplished woman in business.
Or that like 51% of the people on the planet are women. Yeah. Like, who would know that? Like, if only there was a way to tap into all of human knowledge, both past and present.
Yeah. I mean, I know not all the women that are trying to have careers can kick a ball 65 yards or whatever his greatest fucking accomplishment is. Like, give me a break. You're fucking whatever. You're a one trick. You're literally a one trick pony.
Here is a touching anecdote about young love in clip 13.
Stand by. Here we go.
And my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
What a British cigarette that guy is.
Your wife sounds like a loser.
I wonder if his wife converted to conservative Catholicism before or after he signed a lucrative NFL contract. Yeah. I heard Harrison played a mean skin flute in band class, and that's what attracted his wife. Very impressive. The part of this is that they've been together so long, right? I mean, kudos. Kudos to meeting a girl and I don't know, just latching onto her, or just being like, this is the one. I will manipulate this woman into what I want her to be. She's going to convert to my religion and do what I tell her to do because that's God's will.
And she's only ever had sex with one guy, and all her whole identity.
And it wasn't Harrison Buckner.
Her whole identity is based around who her husband is. I'm sure that's very satisfying to a woman. It's everything they ever wanted out of life.
So I was trying to find a picture of her.
Fucking Handmaid's Tale.
Well, I was trying to find a picture of Harrison Butker's wife, and all it kept showing me was like all of the sister wives from the Mormon camps. So I was like, I can't tell which one's which.
Yeah. So in clip 14, I called this one F Your Dreams. Lots of effort for nothing.
Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
Yeah, sure, she wanted to teach children, but I cut a switch no thicker than my thumb, and I drove that demon that planted that aspiration out of her lady brain, okay? Now I own her, officially. You know, that's what this is about. I own my wife.
Yeah. I mean, so you gotta show those women what's what. You gotta tell them what to think and how to think it, and not to let them drive a car or be seen in public.
She was confused up here. I had to straighten that out.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times where I just want the women in my life just to do what I tell them to do. But I do not want them to look at me for every decision. Just like, don't do stupid shit. That's all I want.
Don't ask me for shit, and don't do stupid shit.
Just don't do stupid shit. And that's all I want. And what it sounds like to me, he's living a hell. He's living my hell right now. If his wife has to go to him for every decision and she is that subservient to him, another woman is not the answer. I'm telling you. Stop.
She's giving him white turkey breast sandwiches with mayo with the crust cut off every night, like at the exact time he walks in the door. He's living a great life.
Honey, I'm home.
And I bet she's not cheating on him with the pool cleaning, the pool boy or anything.
Yeah.
Again, he doesn't have any children that are his.
So in clip 15, I said, well, you're half right.
Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience.
The experience of an overprivileged choir boy. You have no experience, son. You don't know shit about real life. You don't know shit about real pain. You don't know shit about a real struggle. Go kick a ball. What are you talking about? It's not coming from a place of wisdom or experience. You know nothing. Nothing.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
In this day and age, there's plenty of underprivileged people. Like it goes back to the fact that more, poor people have more in common with each other than white people or than rich people. I'm sorry. But my point is that this guy does not, like you were saying, he just doesn't have any world experience. He's never had to overcome any challenge that wasn't convincing somebody to give him a football scholarship. And then it's been easy street ever since then,
But to your point, okay, I think that too, because I've had these like back and forth comments, and there's a reason why I said he's an overprivileged choir boy, and not that this is white privilege. Okay, it's a complete lack of awareness about any other lifestyle other than his own.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing with abortion. I mean, I don't want anybody to like have to experience like having to make that decision. But you're, as a white guy that's religious, like that's never grown up as a black woman with no money, that got raped by her uncle and had to make that decision. It's like you have no idea what that experience is. So for you to try and like speak to that, all his opinions come from the narrow scope of a rich white man.
I do want to clarify rich white guy when we talk about him. According to the interwebs, his annual income is approximately $500,000, give or take 10 grand. Okay. So to put that into perspective, the average median household income in the United States in 2021 was just under $47,000. So I don't know if I want to call him rich, but I want to call him affluent.
Comfortable. well off.
My understanding, and this is just what I heard or whatever, the certain things is that his mother is a physicist. Like some people were like,
So why is he retarded?
well, that's a good point because people are like, well, she's a science, she's science based, right? Like you're walking a line of faith. Usually, faith and science are where people are like, they go their separate ways or whatever. But she's like a religious scientist. But point being, I don't think physicists make a pretty good living. I would say that he grew up
Relatively affluent,
comfortable. Let's just say comfortable.
Yeah. They had a pool, is what you're saying.
I didn't grow up in any capacity of richness, and I would say I grew up comfortable.
Do you think they had a vacation home?
What?
Did they have a vacation home? Either at a ski resort or on a lake?
Probably.
I don't know. I didn't dive deep enough into Harrison Butker's glory days on the slopes of Aspen or wherever.
I think you meant to say glory hole days because he's totally praying it away, man.
Glory holes.
All right. So in clip 16, I called this one, "Oh Baby, I Like It Raw." Here are some tips on how to work the system.
There is nothing good about playing God with having children, whether that be your ideal number or the perfect time to conceive. No matter how you spin it, there is nothing natural about Catholic birth control.
I don't know what Catholic birth control is, but the Catholic Church is classically against contraception, even, right? Like using a condom. You're supposed to be abstinent before you get married and then only have sex with your wife and never use contraception. And if you end up with 12 kids, that's God's will. That's what was supposed to. We don't interfere with the natural progression of life here. That's what he's speaking about. So this is what Harrison and Tyreek Hill bonded over, I would say. Tyreek was just like, I just keep fathering kids. I have 5 different women, but no rubbers, just keep pumping those kids out regardless of your ability to support them. Go get food stamps and government assistance and lean on the taxes of the people in your community to pay for what you can't. Great plan, Harrison. That's a really great plan. Just fucking keep pumping them out, and you won't even know the name of your fucking 10th kid by the time you're fucking senile.
What's awesome about this is that let's not use contraception. Our pull-out game is weak, all of that good stuff, right? And then we're going to throw it back on the government, which we oppose, to handle all of these kids.
That weak leadership, Ed.
Yeah, it is so
crazy ass cracker.
Yes, and you said this before. It's so antiquated. The thought process on this, like,
we need more people on this planet, Ed. We need more people.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We need a third less.
With parents that can't afford to, feed and clothe them.
I'm not saying Thanos was right.
Yeah.
But I think that we're forgetting all of the good that Thanos did.
I'm not saying the guy that wrote that line for Thanos was right.
But I'm saying a third of the population, like, there is no reason for there to be 8 billion people on this planet. There's no reason for it.
Mm-mm. No. It's China too. Anyway.
Don't get me started.
So who said this dildo never references any sources in this half-assed diatribe? Clip 17.
To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities.
I'm pretty sure all we ever hear about is how problematic that is. All we ever hear about is absent fathers are a problem in this country. And Harrison Butker is going to say, oh, you've been told that men are not necessary. Like, this is, again, him combating the gay agenda, I would assume. It's patently false. It's been discussed ad nauseum. We know for a fact that a father not in the home is a problem. For you to stand up in front of a group of people and be like, "You've been fed a lie that we don't need men." When? Who said that?
I wish it was true.
When was that ever said?
I don't need one specifically.
Yeah, I would have left years ago.
Everything is a half truth with this guy. He never calls out anyone by name, even when we know who it is: Biden, Fauci, Taylor Swift. He never speaks out with his full chest. These bishops, those priests, talk your shit, buddy. Don't stand there like a pussy and not say who it is. You're here. Talk your bullshit. Okay? All right, we're getting close to the end here. In clip 18, I called priorities. Harrison must have his opinions told to him in the oldest language possible.
That I would challenge each of you to pick a place to move where it is readily available. A lot of people have complaints about the parish or the community, but we should not sacrifice the mass for community. I prioritize the TLM even if the parish isn't beautiful, the priest isn't great, or the community isn't amazing.
The TLM is traditional Latin mass, okay? So you know why the parish and the priest and the community aren't that great? Because everyone else bailed out years ago. Everyone else bailed on this pedophile ring a long time ago. So the parish isn't great, and the priest isn't great, and the community who supports it isn't great. But it's in Latin, so Harrison's fucking a pig in shit. Good job, dude. Right.
Have either, being Catholic schoolboys, did either of you take Latin?
No.
Yeah, then shut the fuck up, Buckner.
One fucking time, like one time, like as a novelty.
Vino Veritas, I think, is the only thing I know. In wine is the truth, I think is what it.
Yeah.
Or Carpe Diem, seize the day. Those are the only things I know in Latin because they're the only things that make sense. The rest of it, who gives a shit?
Whatever Walt Flanagan says about buyer beware with the fucking Baron, or
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it is.
If it's not written on the dollar bill, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, so
I'm about that people.
Clip 19. This is leaving the college bubble. Finally, we get back to talking to the kids a little bit here.
Sadly, I'm sure many of you know of the countless stories of good and active members of this community who, after graduation and moving away from the Benedictine bubble, have ended up moving in with their boyfriend or girlfriend prior to marriage. Some even leave the church and abandon God. It is always heartbreaking to hear these stories, and there's a desire to know what happened and what went wrong.
Well, this isn't helping. Well, son, you get into the real world and you realize that listening to some Kenyan give his homily in Latin isn't paying the bills or getting you laid. So you fucking give up on it. You know, it's just like that's the only, like, they have to go literally around the world to the people that they subjugated and forced Catholicism on, and then bring them over here to preach to you in a foreign language. That you're just like, what the fuck is even happening? What happened to Father Anthony? I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm out.
I mean, Joe, you're freaking out. You're acting like the Inquisition didn't kill 40 to 60 million people. I mean, this whole thing of oh, you know, you can't be living with somebody before you're married. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how expensive rent is?
Yeah, I had to leave the church because they kept asking me for money, and I couldn't pay my rent anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't buy rice at the grocery store because I had to pay my fucking tithes. Shut up. Pay taxes, Catholic Church. Next topic.
Pay taxes. Funny you guys should say that. So some final suggestions from Harrison about considerations for your future.
As you prepare to enter into the workforce, it is extremely important that you actually think about the places you are moving to. Who is the bishop? What kind of parishes are there? Do they offer the TLM and have priests who embrace their priestly vocation? Cost of living must not be the only arbiter of your choices.
Said the millionaire without a care in the world.
Yeah.
First off, Joe, we talked about this. He's not a millionaire.
Well, no, all he had to do was work 2 years and he's got $1 million. So he's a fucking
Well, but his
millionaire.
wife's not allowed to work, so it takes more than 2 years.
What kind of bonuses did he get for being?
I don't know. He probably got 2 altar boys.
when he hawked his.
It's in his contract. 3 altar
Right.
boys per field goal. Like,
That's
it's
his
fine.
Super Bowl
Hello,
rings.
Remax. Is there a TLM near my house? And how small exactly is the gay community? Yeah,
Because I want to be the top of the pyramid scheme.
How many black people live in my neighborhood? Okay, I'm not moving there. Thank you.
Hi, Amazon fulfillment center that I have to take a job at. Do they offer the TLM nearby?
Yeah.
Unreal, man. This guy is just like
Completely out of touch with reality.
what a fucking broken brain, man. Like I don't understand.
What year is this guy living in his head is what I want to know.
I think he did have a statement that I didn't bother pulling.
1927.
Who gives a fuck what he thinks about it, or like thinks about it? Because the only ramification, because this is the thing. Let's come back to this a little bit. He has every right to think this. What he's saying is not actually all that bad, but the idea that this is just across the board how it is for people, or that like these people are wrong and I'm right about everything. It's just so wrong-headed that the only accountability that he will see is this court of public opinion. He won't get penalized by the NFL. He'll continue to be praised by fundamentalist, right-leaning Christian groups and things like that. He'll probably gain tons of popularity on the right side of this type of argument. And once again, I'm not saying he's not a good kicker. I'm not saying the Kansas City Chiefs are bad. I'm not saying anything that like what he's saying. What it is an ideology that is impossible to live up to. It is not possible for anybody to achieve what he's suggesting.
I would say that it's not that it's impossible to live up to, but it's a childish fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Sky Daddy said
it's such a small piece of the population that actually like buys into this noise, this just garbage. I would never allow my daughter, either one of them, if they met somebody like this, I'd drag them out by their hair. I'd be like, get the fuck away from this prick. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Like, he's insane. Does he have a right to say it? 100%. Do I agree with it? I think he's a complete moron.
Yeah.
I think he's a complete fool. He's drank the Kool-Aid. He's gonna die on that hill, and he might as well just drink Jim Jones Kool-Aid because he's a fucking tard for him.
What's fascinating is that he's clearly achieved like whatever path he's chosen, he's been able to insulate himself from the rest of the world, from anybody.
He's never had a real job. All he's ever done is kick footballs.
He's never had a conversation with anyone who might have disagreed with him. I was saying, like, can you imagine if Tyreek Hill's locker was right next to him? Like, if you talk to Tyreek Hill for 2 seconds, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy's coming from a completely different place.
I have to save him.
That's the craziest. That's the craziest thing, because to your point, people with trains of thought like this usually surround themselves with people that think the same way, and just because that's not your religion, people that do focus on their religion kind of will sign off on this kind of mentality because they just frame it in the context that they want to frame it in. So they're like, Yeah, I would do the same thing. I'd tweak this thing about my wife not going to work because I want her to have a second income, but everything else he's saying I'm cool with. Maybe not listening to a mass in Latin. I like to understand what the fuck's going on, but I'll sign off on everything else. But this guy is on a team with people from all different backgrounds. So how does he not see somebody like, to your point, like Tyreek Hill? How do you not see the people that are on your team realize that everybody grew up a little bit different, and a lot of those people are making more money than you, Harrison, so they must be doing something right.
There's a narcissism part of it, though.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone who's religious, there is a narcissism to it.
Arrogance,
yes, exactly. It's one of those things, like the whole point of Christianity, whether it's Protestant, Catholic, whatever, is we have to convert everybody. And really every monotheistic religion is very similar in that ilk, that it's we have to convert you to believe what we believe, whether it's by putting a gun in your mouth or by talking to you. And sometimes I'd rather have the gun in my mouth than listen to this prick.
You're right. This is skewing into Scientology, where
again, monotheistic. It's a sect of Christianity.
They are the only ones that can save everyone else. It is up to
and give you your own planet.
Right. And so, but to your point, like we saw Pat McAfee speak to this, the dynamic in a locker room of how different the walks of life are to everyone. You know, you got some like barefoot dude from fucking West Virginia, you know, running up the sideline over here, and some Harrison Butker over there, you know, who's clutching his rosary, and we have to figure out how to succeed together. The other thing that we're missing out, or like we kind of talked about here, is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift hates this guy. Taylor Swift hates everything about.
Because she's so left wing, liberal, crazy, drug addict. You know, throw my cat at everybody person. Like, I need approval that this guy is a complete and utter, just like 180 from everything she believes, and I'm not trying to shit on Taylor Swift. Like, good for her. She figured out the formula. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. It's for my kids. And they figured out how to charge my wife to pay my kids to shut them up. Like, I totally get it. Right. Yeah. But this guy, in 5 years, no one's even going to know who the fuck this guy is.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody remember Steve Christie? Does anybody remember Vinatieri? Yeah. Vinatieri won as many Super Bowls as this prick, more Super Bowls than this prick, by kicking more impressive field goals.
Yeah.
No one knows who that guy is.
Yeah. I mean,
come on.
I didn't know who he was until this came out. I would have no idea.
Yeah. Vinatieri first was the guy who won the Super Bowls for Tom Brady by kicking the game-winning field goals against the Rams, against the Eagles, against the Carolina Panthers. Who was? And then he kicked game-winning field goals in the Super Bowl for Peyton Manning. So, like, he kind of had like a big career. Who gives a fuck about this guy?
Was it Grammatica was the other one, right? They called him Automatica.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes just kept throwing? I think it was the Baltimore Ravens kicker was like set up in the end zone or whatever, and they just kept like throwing his shit out of the way.
Yes,
they should be doing that to their own kicker. Basically, they should be like taking his shit and throwing it out the fucking door.
So before Peyton Manning had Vinatieri kicking for them, for the Colts, they had Vanderjack, right? And he was notorious for being like kind of a loose cannon, maybe a little bit of an alcoholic. And Peyton Manning once quoted as saying, "Don't listen to what he says. He's my idiot kicker." Like, that's exactly what throat fuck Pat Mahomes is going to say. He's going to be like, he's my idiot kicker. Just like, let him go. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. But this really will go no. They got Rashi Rice shit. They there's a million other murderers and things that the NFL never even bothers to address. This is not going to. People are just like, he should be. That's never going to happen. What are you talking about?
You guys had
zero ramifications from this.
You guys had the great video in the other recording, right? Of someone kicking a woman in the head after like grabbing her by her hair, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the Ray Rice video?
Yeah, but beating the shit out.
Yeah,
of
that has been compared to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
they're identical. It's the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, it's corrupt.
I guess what I'm saying is women don't matter. And,
organizations, right? You have to look at people, not organizations. The Catholic Church, it's fucked up. Fucking FIFA soccer, the NFL.
Okay. First off, when you say FIFA and the Catholic Church, both organizations are pretty fucked. It's not just the people; it's the organization. The NFL, they took over for the Catholic Church, so they are inherently fucked up.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is people individually are fine. You start getting them together and throwing money in the mix, and everything goes to shit. It happens all over. No,
Agent K talking to Agent J. I totally get it. Yeah.
All right. Is that? Do you have anything else, Joe?
No, Harrison Butker.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, definitely.
There is one more thing. About Butker.
Yeah.
This is the graduating class.
Oh yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. Okay. There's more people in attendance than there are graduating.
So I did a quick calculation.
About 300.
I think as I counted it, I did a rough count, and I think it's about 350.
Yeah, I think it's
in this section right here.
I was thinking it was about 325.
That's a relief.
Which is less than the high school that you two graduated from, and that Joe and I fund.
Yeah,
this is a high school graduation level attendance. So anybody who might fear that this is catching on in some popular way, it's not.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God that the pool of people that think like this are small, like insignificant.
Yeah, Westboro Baptist, right? Westboro Baptist Church is probably fucking, not that far away from that organization too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for making it this far into putting up with this shithead's antics. And thank you for supporting the podcast everywhere you rate and review shows. Please follow on Instagram. Oh, I forgot to mention, we are tied on Instagram followers with the Creep Off. Right? As of this record, we're tied. So we're very close to achieving that goal.
I'm gonna go follow our own account just to put us over the top.
yeah. If you want to help us get over the top, please follow us on Instagram and comment and leave apologies in the comments. Demand apologies there, and check out our YouTube channel. And you can check out the free content on Patreon, or consider supporting the show for just $5 for the video version of the show, the mini show content that comes out every Monday at 5 p.m. So for Joe Six Pack, I'm Andy Q Public saying,
sorry.
Say it loud and proud, Joe.
Stay sorry.
Thank you.